All right, Mr. McDuffie, thanks for being here. We're really excited to share some information about our school board with the community and with our students. And we want every one of them to know who you are as individuals and as members of our community. So if you wouldn't mind, just give me a little bit of background about yourself. Are you from Southeast Texas, and how did you get here, and what did you do for a living?
Hi. Well, first thing off the bat, I'm 79 years old. I've been a native of Port Arthur area most of my life, with a short period of other areas. But I've worked as a machinist. I started out at a place called Gulf Coast Machine Shop in Cheek, right out of Beaumont, and served an apprenticeship there. And went to a place called Schaefer Tool. Whenever they sold their wellhead equipment to Schaefer, I went with the work. And after about a year at Schaefer, I went to work in a rubber plant, which is in Port Neches, called Mariposa Simpole at the time. I think it's Lion now. And I worked at the Mariposa Simpole, and I found out what layoffs are. Now, the last man hired is the first man fired, which I can agree, because you take a man that's been out there for 20, 30 years, gets laid off, it's a whole new world for them. Where for me, I just got there. And so I went to work at a place called Jefferson Chemical, which is in Groves, and I worked there as a temporary machinist, waiting to go back to my job as an inside machinist at Mariposa Simpole. And they had a strike in 1970, which they laid off all the temporary hands, and I was it, along with the others. And I went to work at a shop that I'd worked at before. And working at a machine shop, when you go into a big shop, you get on one machine, and as long as you can make time, they'll take and leave you on that machine. The only time that you'll get off that machine is if it's broke, or if somebody else doesn't come to work one night and they need the work done on another machine, then they'll change it. So I went to work at a job shop. I was working days at a place called Ames Machine Shop in Beaumont, and back on Railroad Avenue. That was before they changed everything with Martin Luther, MLK, and they had a railroad track running right down the center of the road. But I worked there for about a year there, and I went ahead and kept putting in my application to go to work at a place called Sinclair Coppers, which was a plastic plant out in Port Acres. And I worked at, when I got on out there, I stayed there for 30 years. So until they shut the plant down. They shut it down, tore it down, and we all was, of course, we was gone. But I worked after that. I went to work at various other shops, and like everything else in machine, just not just machine work, but any other type of business, you have your ups and downs. So you'd work one place, you might get a couple of months. One place, you might get a couple of years. And I finally ended up at a place called Tress, right outside of Nederland on Twin City Highway. It's a shop. What they do is they take and they drag anything that they can find in, and we repair it or machine new parts for it, put it back together again, get it running. And if it's too big, it's kind of like eating an elephant. If it's too big to get into the shop, we tear it apart, take and reconstruct it, take it outside, put it back together again, and send them on their way. But I worked there until 2 years ago. I was 77 whenever work got slow for them, and they have two shops, and they had just enough work for maybe one, so it was just me and an old cat. And so that was the only thing in that shop, and I was more or less, there was nothing really to do, so I finally decided to go ahead and, retire per se.
You all had to be forced out.
Right.
You didn't want to quit working.
I really didn't. In fact, it's not over yet. I still got my tools, and there's always that possibility of going back to work. because I love that. It's just something that machine work is something I've always enjoyed, and that's me.
So how long have you been serving on the board? When were you asked to become a part of this?
I came on the board in 1995. I started working with the Hewin Center in 1983. They had a storm that took out the roof of the airport in Port Arthur and killed a man named Pete Vila. Pete Vila was a man from our plant at Sinclair Coppers, and they were asking, they was talking about donations given and the company was going to match. And I'd been noticing, as a machinist, I'd been noticing that we was throwing away a lot of scrap. I mean, really good scrap metal that really you can't, you can just hold so much of it because you run out of room. But it was just being all thrown away. So I asked them if I could take that scrap and start saving it and cleaning it and selling it. And they allowed it. And by the time that they shut our plant down in 2001, I had donated our plant had donated over $300,000 worth of finances to the Hewin Center.
Wow.
Which helped out on various projects and things like that they did. I didn't designate where the money went because I don't know. They do. And we started a program with the students where we was able to pick them up on Sunday mornings and take them riding around, get them out of the school, and let them see the area. We'd take them over to Bridge City. We'd take them over all around Nederland. They had homes. Some of the little guys in there had homes that they had picked out as theirs. And they made sure that the lawn was mowed as far as they was concerned, and everything was looking good. And it gave them something to look forward to during the week. And we took them on outings to various places. We took them out into to the beach. We took them up to a place right outside of, let's see, what is it? Warren, right outside of Warren. They call it the Sundew Trail. And the Sundew Trail, it's a paved double trail, two-side, small half-mile and about a mile loop. And we'd take them out there and have an outing, and then take them around the trail and let them see all the various things out there, all the different wild, all the plants and plant life and wildlife and anything else that was available. But we had a good time, and in fact, one time we went up there and it snowed while we was there. So,
oh my gosh.
I mean, this is great. They was having a ball. They didn't realize what was going on out there at first, but it was really an awesome trip.
Yeah.
And I had my family. It was I had 4 generations of our family that was actually involved in this. My father-in-law, my wife, her son, and their son. And it was really a blessing. But this was something that the children look forward to, and some of them we took, and as long as they needed help, we would help them. Every now and then we get a little call, help, and we go help. But when the school shut down, we lost track of most of them, but every now and then one would pop up. You see them. So some of them got married, and are happily married and living a good life. So, but since then, I mean, I've been on the board, like I say, since 1995, and I've seen a lot of change. And with the advent of the Bob Hope Charter School, it's been a blessing. It's constantly something going on there because Bobby keeps us busy. And it's really been a blessing. Like I say, you students, very shortly, You're going to be going to college to get your various degrees in different fields, and you're going to get out there and you're going to be the next generation. And we want it to be the best. We don't want y'all to get out there and find, you read every now and then, you read these horror stories of people that had graduated from high school and they couldn't even fill out a job application. Don't want that. We want y'all to get out there and burn.
So more than 25 years of experience serving. That's quite a commitment. Has it been rewarding for you?
I've enjoyed it, and my family has too. Really, it's been a blessing, and there's a lot of memories. We have pictures. I turned in the pictures whenever whenever they shut the school down. I turned those pictures in of pictures we'd taken of the children on outings and things like that. These children were coming from all over the world to this school because of the ability. They had what these children needed. It was really a blessing.
So let me ask you one more question. Your experience as a machinist for all of those years, how does that help you serve on this board? And now that we're the Bob Hope Charter School, these students are going off, and especially in this area, they're going into the workforce. They're going to four-year colleges, but you have an experience in a craft. And is that something that you think shapes you into a great board member that these students can benefit from?
I think so. If you really, the work that I've done over the years in working with machine work, I've met a lot of people. And as a machinist, you're also, and especially in working in the plants, you're working around other crafts. You're electricians, you're ITECs, your pipe fitters, your boiler makers, and then your operations. You've got your operators and everything, the various ones, your A, B, and C, on various parts of the plant. And you're always constantly taking and learning from them. Plus, I was on an emergency team out there for many years, and we was in 1983. They required in January of 1983. They required that in order to run an ambulance, that you'd have to have an EMT on board. So they asked if anybody wanted to take a little first aid course. That was quite a way of saying whenever you started. We came out as basic EMTs and stayed with that for many years, and learning that, and also to structural rescue. They sent us to Lamar, and we trained all the time for with structural rescue. So they kept us hanging around a lot. And they took. We had just learning hazmat and fighting fires. They sent us to fire school many times, and we've had a lot of fires. And it was always learning. In other words, you really never learn it all. What you're doing right there is constantly training and hoping that you'll never have to use it. But yeah, it was fun.
Any message that you have for our students here?
Yeah, keep up the good work. Really, I tell you what, as long as all the students here, every one of you coming from a different background, a different home life. Your thoughts and everything, as you get together and you talk and you find out y'all have a lot in common, but there is a little difference here and there. From your way of living versus another, and that's part of life. That's America. Hey man, I tell you what, in America, that's what we are. We're all Americans. But if you'll just take and keep a positive attitude whenever you think things are getting bad, realize that somebody's got it worse. I mean, whenever dealing with these students with cerebral palsy, spinal bifida, gunshot, You know, little guy got shot one time. First one I met, he was walking around with a helmet on and a quad cane. He was about 9 years old. He got shot, drive-by, and he was sharp as tack. That little guy he was a ball of fire. But it was just the idea that he's just in the wrong place at the right time whenever he was right there at his house. But, and it can happen at any time. Of course, don't ever, you get all shook up about something like that, and you get all shook up, and you're afraid, you're so busy worrying about getting hurt that you can't see life itself. But these children, I saw one little child. He was hopping around, having a grand old time. Had long pants on, and I wondered. I said, "This guy right here is sharp as a tack, and he's hopping around." I said, "What in the world is wrong with this guy?" I was trying to figure out why he was there. Mm-hmm. He was a newbie. He, more or less, they brought in a family, and for some reason they were housing them there for a short period of time. And I went back later to pick up one of our students to take them out for lunch. And he was in a wheelchair. He'd lost his legs. But to see him hopping around inside that bus, you'd have never believed it. Now, I'm not going to say where that child was from, but it wasn't from the United States. But that things happen, you step on a bomb or so, a mine or something like that. But as far as where, I would never say where they're from. But we've had students from all over the world. A man had a job. He was a head of a business over in Singapore, and he gave up his job there in Singapore to take his son, who has cerebral palsy, and bring him through Europe and all the way around the United States to here. And they finally found, when they got to the Hewan Center, they found out that that was the best match for his child. And we became real good friends. You just saw their family and ours. And of course, he's still in the United States. I believe he's still in the United States. I hadn't been in touch with him in a few years, but they was in California. He had made some inventions and things like that. A sharp tack. Yeah. So the children were going to college and everything. So like I say, you may think sometimes that things are getting rough, but if you just look around, you'll find out somebody's got it rougher, and they're still trying to fight for it every day. So you just keep it up. Yeah. Don't ever give up.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciated it.
Hey, I thank you. It was really a blessing.
Yeah, thank you.